Sager with the Lexington Local, and today we are with Carolyn Wortman, who runs the Interfaith
Lexington Interfaith Outreach Food Pantry, Inc.
Don't forget the Inc. And it's located in the Church of Our Redeemer, right here on Merriam Street in the back here.
Where it's been since 1990.
Wow, that's impressive. That's really cool.
With the church donating the space that we use.
Okay, so tell me how that works. So are you part of the church, or you're...
No, we are a separate corporation. We just live here.
Okay.
And like I said, they have donated space since the day one. And the little room that's around the corner there was the original pantry.
Wow.
A little thing. And we've grown over the years. And we now are a fairly big operation.
Okay.
Dealing with probably, well, anywhere between 75 and 90 families per week.
Wow.
Why is there a food pantry in Lexington, people ask me. Well, there's two sides of every town, as Ashley will tell you, and what she writes about the pantry all the time, because she also writes, she doesn't only do the garden.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She has some other secret talents we didn't
She writes
get to know
for she writes for the Lexington Times.
Oh.
And she writes other things too.
Okay.
So I've been on board since 1990.
Seriously?
Yes, 2 weeks after it opened. I happened to be a member of the church, and they were advertising they needed somebody to give out food. So I came down, and it was the end of November of 1990 on Saturday mornings, and started handing out food. And then around came May, and I'm lucky to have a little cottage in Algonquin, Maine. So from May 1st to middle of October, I'm not around. My mom said, well, I'll go down and do that for you. And so she came down every Saturday for the time that I was gone, and the next thing I knew, she was running the pantry, which she did until she was going on 90.
Wow.
She lived to almost 104.
Wow, good genes.
And when I retired in 2002, I took over, running the pantry.
That's so nice.
And I've been doing it ever since. And I'm a retired nurse, and so I went from one caring thing to another.
Well, that makes sense. Makes sense. And how many people help you with this?
Oh, I have lots of help.
Okay.
I normally would not be here now, but
Okay.
I came down because of the filming, and we had a small intake of food on Saturday. There's a bunch of very handsome young men from the high school who formed a club, and they decided that at some of the sporting events they were going to collect food for the pantry. And the first event was a football game and all that mud last Friday.
Okay.
And they brought the stuff on Saturday.
Nice.
And then yesterday, as I was leaving church, I found a whole group of people out at the donation cabinet outside, having unpacked hundreds of cans. This cart's full, this one was full. Hundreds of cans into the shelves in the cabinet, and I'm like, I'm going to have to take these all off one by one. They graciously put it all in shopping carts for me, so I could bring it down. And they were from St. Nicholas, the Greek church, across the street. And they do donate about once a year. They have a little drive, and it was quite a lot of food. And unfortunately, they had been in contact with my coworker who either forgot or whatever, didn't tell me about it. But I was leaving the church, so I took care of it.
So who else donates food?
Well, we have a drop-off bin at the Stop and Shop between cash registers 1 and 2, and your group has sat outside Stop and Shop collecting food, individuals, and this time of year we are headed for major food drives because the poor are hungry at the holidays. Not at July, August, September.
Right, it's tricky.
And the food drives, they've started, and we will be getting more and more and more and more. And our shelves, which are actually pretty bare right now, we're sort of buying week to week, will fill up, and it'll last us until around May when the post office does their thing, because they're back doing their thing they did last year. And that will last us until around August. And then August, September, October are our lean months. that there's nobody having food drives, and we are spending a lot of money on food.
Okay, where do you get the money from?
People give it to us.
Okay.
And
So-
since the pandemic, right before the lockdown, the
Mhm.
pandemic, we were actually in fear that we were going to have to close down because we didn't have enough money.
Mhm.
And the pandemic came, and it's sad that it took a pandemic, but we are okay.
Mhm.
People, banks, everybody, very, very generous.
Mhm.
And so right now we are in, financially in okay shape.
Mhm.
Not going to last forever, and the donations have gone down,
Mhm.
but there's still some money coming in, so we're still all right.
So if you had to buy your food on a weekly basis to support your families, like how much money do you need on a weekly basis?
Well, it depends on the time of year. Last week, not this one right now, but the week before, or was it this one? No, it was this one. I spent probably between canned foods, produce, eggs, bread. I probably spent $2,500
Ooh.
on food.
Ah, okay, so not a.
It's
So
up
you
there,
really-
and then of course, as you know, the price of food's going up,
That's
up.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I buy a lot of my food pantry food at Wegmans, because they still, even though their prices are also going up, they still have reasonable prices for sort of the staple food pantry food.
I see.
Like pasta is 99 cents, pasta sauce is 99 cents.
Okay.
Some of the vegetables are 59 cents canned.
Okay, right.
Vegetables are 59 cents. Canned chicken broth, I think, is 69. It started out at like 49 when I first started working with them. I mean, things are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Eggs have gone up to $3 a dozen from $1.59 when Massachusetts passed the law that said all the eggs sold in Massachusetts have to be cage-free. So there went the price of eggs.
Right.
I don't want chickens abused, but my eggs don't have to be that pampered.
Right, sure. Yeah, no, I can see that. So how do people, make the donations? You have a website, I mean, I know you have your thing at Stop and Shop, but,
And we have the cabinet outside the
Right.
church 24/7.
okay,
If it's large donations, I ask them to please contact us
okay,
so that I don't have hundreds of cans singly put on the shelves
right,
in the cabinet outside. And, it's usually me that comes down and, meets them and brings stuff in.
okay,
But I have people, I have other people helping. Like I have a whole group of people that pick up the bin at Stop and Shop. It's
Okay.
picked up every day. And I have a group
Okay.
of people that do that and bring it to the pantry. They don't sort it, they bring it. That basket of food came in yesterday.
okay,
I have, tomorrow, there'll be people here checking dates on all of that. This stuff, the people who donated it have checked the dates,
Oh,
so
that's
that
good,
I'm
yeah,
just sorting
yeah.
it out at this point, and I've just gotten through the little one, I haven't gotten through the big one yet. We have people on Friday afternoon who actually set up the pantry. The pantry is actually held out there in the
Right there,
Great Hall, and the cabinets on the side. I don't know if you can see one of them behind Ginger. Ginger, can you open up that first cabinet? The architect who redesigned was very clever. There are metal carts in there
We'll show
that
those
have the
later.
food on them. And on Friday afternoon, we load up all those carts, and that's where the shopping is done, from the carts on Saturday, and our produce comes in on Friday, and most everything is set up ready to go, except the stuff in the fridges that have to be taken out on Saturday morning. But we're pretty much set up ready to go on Friday when we leave here. And then on Saturday, there's a whole different crew that are here, and since pandemic, we are still in pandemic mode. Our clients are not coming into the building. And we are shopping, literally shopping, for 75 to 90 families per week down here.
Wow.
And there's about 10 or 11 of us down here. Some are packing up the produce, some are actually filling the bags from a shopping list that the clients have filled out,
Okay,
which if you have gone on the website, you can see. They get some choices. They get, do they want sweet cereal, not sweet cereal, oatmeal canisters, or instant oatmeal? Do they want vegetarian baked beans, non-vegetarian?
Gotcha.
What kind of rice do they want? Do they want Hardee's? Do they want what kind of fruit do they want? That's named. The canned vegetables are named as to what they want. Do they want tuna fish? Yes or no? I mean, stuff like that. And then we have a whole group of things, like this is a beginning of a cart full, that don't fall into our 12 staples, but they're used if people give them. And so they get some of that stuff in the bag. We also have, most of the time, we have paper products and personal care items, which most food pantries started giving out about 3 or 4 years ago. And we often have, when people want to have food drives for us, and we're like food drives out of our minds, I'll say, well, how about a paper product and a personal care product, a drive, a non-food drive, and they will do that. And we got one of those coming up in November, like a kindergarten, pre-kindergarten place here in town are going to do that. And we also get a lot of our personal care items from an outfit down out of Needham called Hope and Comfort. And they distribute shampoo, deodorant, soap, personal care stuff to shelters, to schools.
That stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
And it's not slouchy stuff that they give us.
Right.
I mean, it's because they're either buying it themselves or companies actually are donating it. Like our shampoos mostly are Suave. You know, that's a decent shampoo. I use it.
Yes.
That's a decent shampoo.
Right.
You know, and the bar soap is, it could be a little better, but it's just plain white bar soap. But it's soap, and we sanitary products we can sometimes get there, toothbrushes, toothpaste. Often not hair conditioner or body wash, which the people like, but it's just not something that they carry. You know,
So, if someone, like, what would you want people to donate here? If you're like, look at, we could.
Well, first of all, we say, you know, to look at the list online, which lists our 12 staple items.
Okay.
Those are the things we go out and buy if we don't have.
I see.
Okay? So that would be first,
Key.
yeah.
Right.
And if somebody wants to have a big drive, they should contact us, because what we're trying to do is, rather than just have a food drive, which is a license to clean out your cabinets, and that happens, we ask them to do what we call a focused food drive. And we'll give them a list of maybe 6 items that we want. And that way we end up with more of each item than a can of this, a can of that, a can of the other thing. You know, we can go through 3 cases of chicken broth in a week.
Okay.
We can go through almost 100 boxes of cereal in a week. You know, I mean, and there's this over there, that sign. People are given food by the number of people in their family.
Gotcha.
So, like the top one, baked beans. We have one family of 6. She chooses to shop every other week because it's just more convenient for her. And so she gets 2 weeks of stuff every other week. So she walks out of here with 6 cans of baked beans, 6 boxes of cereal, 6 boxes of mac and cheese, 6 boxes of pasta, 6 cans of fruit, you know, and so forth.
Right.
You know, 8 cans of soup.
And those are your staples.
Yeah, those are our staples.
And
they
then
are
you
the
fill
same.
in with other things. What
And
about like meat? No.
Rare. We have eggs and cheese.
Okay.
And what?
And
Oh, tuna. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a can.
Right,
We have
but,
tuna.
yeah.
And right now we've got lots of canned Spam.
Really?
Which we got from Food
From
Link.
Hawaii.
You know, Food Link out of Arlington. Are you familiar with them?
No.
It's a 501c3 that rescues food from places like Whole Foods and Panera and stuff like. They rescue food that otherwise would end up in the landfill.
Nice.
And they decide, you know, and we get food from them on Fridays. You know, they send me a list of what they have, and I send back a list of what I want.
Nice.
And it includes day-old bread and pastries, bagels, pastries from La Patisserie in Winchester, which are to die for.
Right, that's nice.
Yeah, and bagels and you know and stuff like that. So we get stuff coming in from all different directions. You know, and we've come close the last few weeks of running out of produce, even though We're getting produce from the Boston area gleaners. We're getting produce we buy from Cut Service, which is a wholesale. We get not the best, but still edible, some from Wagon Wheel here in town.
Okay.
We get from Food Link.
Okay.
And, but, you know, like I said, we go through
That's
a lot of food. I mean,
Yeah.
Ashley's been here when we're in session, and Ginger's been here.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You didn't mention Carla.
Who?
The
Oh, the
Interfaith
Interfaith Garden. Could I possibly forget?
Tell us about that.
Across the street, on the other side of the corner of the Battle Green,
Yeah.
there's a woman that lives in a house there whose name is Carla Fortman. And in her backyard, she has donated space and started with the churches in town what's called the Interfaith Garden. And over the course of the growing season, they grow upwards to a ton
Wow.
of produce for us.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Seasonal though, right? Like that's seasonal.
Okay,
So.
well,
Yeah, it's all
That's
seasonal.
Right,
The,
yeah.
you know, the mounds of veggies, right, are going to go down.
Right, very
very
quickly.
fast, very
Yeah,
quickly.
right.
I mean, we're now into acorn squash, butternut
Right.
squash,
Yeah,
eggplant.
right.
You know, the hardy stuff that, you know, and I think that probably our clients are sick unto death of it, but that's what
Right.
we have,
Right, right,
and that's
right.
what we give them.
Yeah, yeah. So, wow. Well, this is a magnificent task that you have undertaken. So,
We work hard at it. You
Yeah.
know, if anybody thinks the food pantry just happens, they're crazy.
no, I can't even imagine. Well, just the amount of organization that it requires on top of everything else. So, well,
Yeah.
all right, people, let's get out here and donate, shall we? Right? So, thank you. For
You're
your
welcome.
time.
Thanks for coming.